on YouTube and everything.
I was just playing my crystal bowl. I just had a birthday, and that was my gift to myself. There we go. Let me kill the music.
All right.
Okay. You're fairly adept with gene keys and human design, aren't you?
Um, I mean, yeah, a bit. Yeah, I've been around the block. More human design than Jinkies, but
Gotcha.
I'm familiar. I mean, I've done all the paths in Jinkies off my own back. I didn't like do any of Richard's programs.
So I didn't cheat. What I did was print it out just the line, so I'm not looking at what gates or um, gene key it is.
Mm-hmm. So
Uh,
I haven't re-looked at my Gene Keys profile since I did my birth time rectification.
okay.
Um, and it was only for my human design chart. It was only really subtly different. It was like my moon, my personality moon moved. So it was like 23 minutes, something like this, difference in time. So it'll be interesting to hear because I've given you the correct like time. You know what I mean? So
I've done both the Venus sequence a couple of times and the activation sequence probably a half dozen times.
okay,
I've yet to do the pearl, so I'm kind of winging it
okay.
with that part of it.
You say you've done them. Have you gone through them with a course with like Richard or
Yeah, I've done them with Richard, and I've done them with Ella and Ashley.
okay, yeah. I'm familiar with those. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I've done all of it like twice over, but just I have the book, and I took a day for each of the gates.
That's why coming at it from this perspective with just the lines is kind of unique.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. So tell me a bit more about what we're going to do.
I'm just going to go through and read the whole chart just from the lines.
Okay,
I'm currently in the guides program and getting certified.
great,
And
nice.
so to do readings, this is a really simple way. You don't need to know nothing about gene keys or human design.
Mm,
A lot of my focus is working with men. In
sure.
the Venus deep dive, we had a men's container
Okay.
because it's so predominantly white women.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Most personal development is
Well, I'm hoping to focus more on people of color, specifically American Black men
sure,
and Native American men
sure.
or other indigenous cultures. But
Mm.
let's give you a whirl. You know, the first line is a 6, as
Yeah,
they call it the teacher,
yeah,
and you're 40, so you're in the second stage of that.
yeah.
And that is earlier in life, it's a lot of trial and error and making mistakes and figuring out what does not work.
Yeah.
This is the time of life of, kind of looking back and go, okay, I fucked up there, and there. Let's not do that again. And at some point, you become a master and then share that knowledge with others. It's
Mm,
basically learning from the mistakes of your youth and younger
yeah,
years.
yeah.
And the challenge, um, some of the biggest challenge for you will be sort of like an aloofness or an arrogance. It's like,
Hmm,
ooh, I know this. I don't have to learn this lesson again.
yeah.
So it's all about for you about learning. and surrendering into that process of knowing that you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's familiar.
the core wounding with the 6th line there is of isolation.
Right.
And the cure for that, or healing for that, is really focus on self-care.
Right.
What you need to do to take care of you.
Right.
I don't know your internal authority.
Emotional.
Well, yeah, me too. So yeah, that one just all in itself can be a whole video, but
Yeah.
self-care and the emotions.
Yeah.
And the breakthrough comes for you in actually knowing what your gifts really are and integrating them.
Right.
And I'll remind you, they're inquiry, imagination, artfulness, and synergy. And synergy is going to be really big for you, because not only is it how you are to be in this world, but it's how you need to be in relationships with others.
Right.
Your stability comes when you can get out of the shadow of blaming,
Right.
or even on the passive side, complaining.
Yeah.
I have 55 as my radiance, so I'm really adept at, it's not my fault, it's their fault. Or they
Yeah.
did this to make me feel this.
Yeah.
But and I've recommended to some people, it's like if you have a swear jar, come
Yeah.
up with a blame and complain jar.
Yeah.
So you gotta put $1 in every time you're blaming something outside of yourself.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a quarter every time you complain about something, and just notice.
Yeah. 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 It's good to use those to bring things to mind. Yeah.
One of the key things for you is, and not as much you, but the people around you, that you surround yourself with people who don't have ulterior motives, that they can be honest. You as well, as honest as you can be with yourself. Denying is one of your stumbling blocks. So as you start to notice that blaming and not taking responsibility for stuff, it kind of shatters the denying.
Right.
And the healing for that is to be at ease, not try to make anything happen, not trying to rush any processes, just to relax into them and to be at ease with exactly who and what you are. Got the information. It's just a matter of, are you allowing it to guide you? And you heal through ease. And that goes with relationships as well. Can you hold on a second? I just got to grab something to drink. Some water.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
It's like the first time at 90 degrees here, so.
Oh, nice. Lucky for you.
Might have to pull out the portable air conditioner soon.
Oh my gosh, if only.
How is this landing so far?
Yeah. It's making sense. Yeah. It's good to hear it again.
It breaks it down to the simplest pieces.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, it does.
With your
I'm looking
attraction.
forward to digesting it.
Say it again.
I'm looking forward to digesting it.
Okay.
I find often the first time I hear something, it lands at one level,
Right.
And then, you know, so if we look at my environment is narrow valleys, so I'm all about sound, and often I find like the echo. So when I hear something the first time, okay, yeah, it goes in. Then I hear it the second time, it goes in a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to. You said you're recording this, so I'm looking forward to listening and then listening again, and you know, yeah. So it'll be fun.
And I'm a fifth line of voice.
Okay, right,
With a direct connection from the 8-1 connection to the G center to the throat. So
Yeah.
your
Nice.
attraction is the gift there is inspiration, and the line 2 is about lust and passion.
Yeah.
So I would imagine you're kind of a sexy guy that attracts a variety of interests.
Yeah, that could be said. Yeah, that could be said. Yeah, I have 1949. You know, that's my only definition. So it's very sensory, very touchy. You know, very knowing who the right one is through that sensory touch. Yeah. So a lot of flirting. Yeah.
And in the IQ, you have the influential mind.
Right.
So you have the ability to affect other people.
Mm.
And the gift there is equality.
Yeah.
So something you need to pay attention to is if you're using those gifts to manipulate.
Sure. Yeah.
And you know, I have 59 as my purpose, which is dishonesty for me personally. So I always have to be going in and checking, you know, is my reality actually truth? What am I doing with it?
Yeah.
On the emotional side, it's you have a 6th line, and they don't really say. Now I'd imagine that would still have the 3-phase experience in, I guess, emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Reverence and alienation are the 2 words from Richard.
Yeah.
The gift within that is graciousness.
Yeah.
I don't really have a mental grasp on that. You may have a little more clarity than I do at this point there.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, you know, the interesting thing is about this emotional wave is I feel like in that first Saturn 28-year aspect of it, you really get chucked around by the emotional wave. You know, you really don't get it. You're into the juicy things, and you're out of the things that don't feel so good. You know,
I'm still that way, and I'm 57.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm a little bit less like that.
Well, that's
maybe a touch less, you know, now I've hit 40. So yeah, slow learner.
And in the SQ, you have a 2nd line, and I have the 2nd line there as well. And I struggled with that and understanding freedom as the gift, especially since I have 55 as my radiance and freedom as the gift.
Yeah.
But wildness and boundaries are the opposite side, and it's the gift of insight.
Mm-hmm. And remind me what SQ is relating to.
It's the first developmental stage. It's called your spiritual quotient.
Yeah.
Sort of what your soul is as you were born to 7,
Yeah.
that first part of life.
Right.
And the thing that intuitively pops in for me is not a victim,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
as as victimization is the seed,
Yeah.
as you nurture that, the flower or fruit of that is freedom.
Right.
And then the core wound has 2 sides, and you have a 5th line there.
Yeah.
Uh, Perseverance is the gift, and the 5th line is about management,
Yeah.
managing others, because you have such an influential ability.
Uh-huh.
And responsibility is the keynote, being self-responsible. It's not you, it's how I am reacting to you, or
Uh-huh.
you're not making me feel this way. That is my feeling,
Yeah.
and be responsible for things.
Yeah.
And that perseverance being the gift, you wouldn't have that if you didn't have to go through quite a bit of shit.
Yeah. 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 That's definitely resonant.
I don't know what the shadow is of that. And the vocation, that one I have to look up as we go into the pearl,
Yeah, cool.
is, no, 5th line. Oh, it says, the core is about guilt
Right.
and taking responsibility for that is forgiveness.
Okay.
Because the more you hold on to that guilt, and I would imagine this is self-forgiveness.
Yeah, that sounds to be. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about the pearl, so I'm just going to kind of wing this piece.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
You have 2 5th lines, and then the 4 and the 6.
Yeah.
The culture is about networking, and for you it's about integrity, and apparently your pearl is the same but just a 5th line.
Yeah.
What gene key is that, if I'm, do you know offhand?
18. I don't know offhand. No. I would have to look it up.
Don't worry about it, I'll just keep it from here. But
Um,
it's about
it's
network.
splenic. I know it's a splenic, Kate.
Okay,
So
it's about networking, and in the pearl it's about power, and the gift of both of them is integrity.
yeah.
So that seems to be a theme throughout the whole reading, is self-honesty and integrity.
Right.
And this looks like a learning process, and you learn it from others, networking through that
Cool.
culture piece. And as you come to your pearl power, the thing that intuitively comes up for me is the saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And responsibility is all throughout your chart, about you understanding who you are, what you are, and what things affect you, and how you let them affect you is your responsibility.
Yeah. 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 That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay.
And ease seems to be a big piece. Just to relax into it, not trying to make shit happen.
Oh yeah, that works. That definitely works.
Much easier said than done.
Well, I think there's a lot of energy out there in the world,
Yeah.
which is about doing,
Right.
doing in order to be valid, doing in order to be accepted, doing, and I mean, you can only buy into that for so long. You know what I mean?
Are you a projector?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave that shit up a long time ago. I've been
Yeah, totally. I mean, I do what I want, I
right.
do what resonates for me, but yeah, there's been a lot of doing and like figuring out when enough is enough and just going, okay, I've done that, I've done enough here, whereas times past I would have started a project, I would have had to finish it, you know, that sort of thing. Now it's just like, okay, am I done? Have I done enough? Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's where the second phase of the three is.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think that's definitely got it in there. Um, that seems to be an awful lot of what the having been in the world and then not being so much in the world. This on the roof phase, it seems to be like not going with the flow quite so much. Happy to march to your own drum. That sort of energy.
Yeah, I have 8 as my life's work. So yeah, that
Right.
being unique and different and my own drum, I've been good with that all my life. And it was quite interesting. I would say that was probably the most revelational piece of learning this stuff is like, okay, I'm not like everybody else. I was cool with that. I
Yeah.
just didn't know I functioned slightly differently.
Right.
I'm a Tesla, you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
doesn't need that motor and it's still a badass car. It can whip the ass of most other gas engines. But you got to plug it in and let it charge up.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy. That's a really good analogy. Yeah. Yeah.
There
So
was
so your 8 is what is it? What is it? Are you self-projected projector? Is that what
no,
it is?
I have a defined route. I'm either, some people say an energy projector
Yeah.
or an emotional projector.
Yeah. Same. As I said, 1949 is my only definition. So yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think
Well,
where it goes to because I've seen that.
does it seem like it's been a value and landed for you?
Yeah. I think a lot has. A lot like as I say, there's a lot. Even though it's broken down and quite simple, there's still quite a lot of information. And for me that takes time to integrate. So as I said, I'm looking forward to listening again. So I'll look forward to receiving the recording from you. And it's really good to sort of go through the gene keys, in this way. It is a more simple way than going into each gene key and then going like that deep dive, because that's
Yeah,
that.
these are smaller bites and hopefully a
Yeah.
little easier to digest.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because it's each gene key, is really juicy, you know,
Right.
in its own right, which is why it can take a real time to digest. Did you ever? Oh, what's that game? There's a game called Akasha. Did you ever
Oh
come
yeah.
across this? Yeah.
Yeah, I started with that. The first time I saw that, I had this huge, strong intuitive to fly out to New York and meet Rodrigo.
Okay.
Because in my dream and vision here was something similar to what he was doing.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the finances to be able to do that. And
Right.
when I reconnected with him, he was at that end of life stage. So,
Right. Okay.
but I had a group of 5-1s and 5-2s. All of us are voices, and
Yeah.
we met for almost a year after doing Rodrigo's last run through of it,
Right.
and we did the Delta together, and that was really powerful.
Yeah. Great. Great. So where in the States are you? You west?
I'm right by Detroit, just
Oh,
outside of
okay.
Detroit.
Right. Okay. Wild.
And my dream is Henry Ford's original Model T plant, which started the whole industrial revolution,
Sure.
is in a small city within Detroit,
Uh-huh.
and it's just sitting there.
Okay. Just derelict doing nothing.
Well, Ford did something kind of sneaky. They sold it to a company and then leased it back,
Uh-huh.
because if they sell the property, they're going to have to deal with the EPA and all of the pollution and stuff that they created there. They would have to clean up, and that
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
millions and millions they don't want to spend.
But is it a site that's not being used at the moment then?
No, well, very minimal. They have some storage there, and there's a couple of small businesses. The property, they're dumping dirt and sorting out rocks.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So you want to go in there and use it as like what a center for education, something like this?
No, to make it lofts.
Right.
And it's like they would be incredible lofts, but on all levels. There'll be some high-end levels. There'll be mostly mid-level, and there'll also be programs to help homeless people get into housing, and more of a synergistic, new-ish idea for sustainable living. But
Sounds good.
yeah, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So
Well, it's good to have a vision.
yeah, I'm just the vision and the voice. If it happens,
Yeah, and trust that the right people come along. Bunch of generators to do all of the generating.
exactly. Couple manifestors to get it initiated.
Yeah, exactly that. Beautiful.
Well,
Oh,
I
nice.
do have to run. I
Cool.
told people I would do these for them today.
Well, great. It was really juicy and interesting. So thank you very much for your time, Tom. I appreciate you taking the time to go through this. And yeah, I look forward to the recording when it comes through.
All right.